it's your turn to...
Oh, is it for me?
Consider yourself fired.
Why are you winking at me?
Consider yourself fired.
Hello, and welcome to the JT and Drew Show. I'm JT.
And I'm Drew.
And we're two nobodies talking about nothing.
Consider yourself fired. Well, welcome back to the show, JT.
Yeah, hey, thanks for having me on the Drew Show. I really appreciate it, bud.
Yeah, man, anytime. You know, you're always welcome. Just don't overstay your welcome.
I think last time I did, because I popped a cot in the back room over here, and the secretary lady was like, we need you to leave now.
Yeah, she's the cleaning lady. That's racist.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hey, I upgraded her pay, right?
Hey, speaking of upgraded pay, I heard you got a guest on the show this time.
I didn't come through with that. Please don't fire me.
Sounds about right.
But I heard from a little birdie that you got somebody to replace my somebody.
Which little birdie told you that? You're fired.
Oh, then it wasn't a little birdie. It was a little wormy.
We do have a guest.
What?
With a T on the end of it. Guest.
Ooh, I guess.
Yeah. So this one's a little fancy. Some might even call him a little bougie.
Ooh.
But he's coming all the way from the north side of town.
What?
Yeah.
I can't believe you associate with anybody on that side of town.
For those of you that know, hashtag you know if you know. if you know. But yeah, so he's coming all the way from the north side of town. Just a real big city guy. Grew up in Mississippi. He's got a military background. He's got a church background. He's got just a huge following. Yeah, I'm not doing it justice. We'll let him introduce himself.
All right. Well, get him on the show, man.
Yep. Here he is.
Welcome, everybody. It's Dwayne The Rock Johnson visiting with you today.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Oh, it was the baldness that kind of...
It's bright. It's very bright. We're going to have to turn the lights down.
Hey, I want to be just up front with you guys how grateful I am to be invited to the domestic abuse podcast, because if those of you can't see, JT obviously is wearing a wife beater, and whatever happened behind you, the blind situation, I'm calling 911. Something happened in the room.
As you can tell, I also have the white trash cardboard box to let the sun stay on the outside of it.
Well, at least it's not aluminum foil, because that would have been as redneck as you could go.
I was going to do that this winter, was told not too long ago that we are not doing that. So that is no longer an option.
Oh, was that like your multiple personality telling you that, or was that, your significant other? Because, yeah.
We don't talk about these things on the air.
It might have been, was it your daughter? Because it might have been your daughter telling you that too. So
which one? The second one's starting to go.
One?
And for our viewers, this is why we don't post videos.
This is a good reason to not post videos.
I think the next level for you guys is to go full Glenn Beck and actually do the podcast, but have the video. I'm telling you, you're missing so much in translation here.
I won't take my shirt off for free.
I don't know.
I don't know.
That was one time,
the
guys.
tattoo is sacred, and I can't just
6 weeks.
be popping this thing out for everyone to see.
Well, like I said, I'm really happy to be here.
Thanks for coming.
We're
I'm
glad
really
that you
glad to be here.
were able to make it and shave out some time.
This is awesome. I tiptoed out of the home. We put the boys down around 8:00, and my wife turns them to a pumpkin around 9. So this was kind of like, this is definitely outside of the realm of our everyday.
Yeah.
I don't usually cut out of the house to go do this. This is totally different. So
he
Awesome.
snuck
Well,
out.
thank you.
Is what he's
really
saying.
appreciate you.
I'm glad. Great to be here. I love talking about stuff, and I hear we've got some really exciting topics to talk about tonight.
Oh yeah.
Really. I can just.
I'm so stoked to talk about these topics.
I'm stoked. There's so many topics.
There's so many topics. We're gonna have to use Scotch tape.
That's too far, but okay.
I'll just.
I think no. I think one, if we're going to do this, if we're going to have this, and we don't even know what we're talking about, I want the pipe. Can I have the pipe? I think the pipe is necessary. I feel like
Give the man the pipe.
elementary, my dear Watson. If you're listening and you can't see, I have an actual pipe.
Corncob pipe.
Whoa, you know. Whoa. Oh, edible.
Well, never mind. I won't.
I mean, don't get me going into my impersonations because I can do that stuff. Did not have. I'm not going to go that far. Sorry.
That's good. Yeah, please don't. You know,
Okay.
this
So,
is a-
hey, boys and girls, I'm Bullwinkle. You know, I can go.
Wow.
I can go pretty far. You know.
Speaking of impersonations, I hear you're getting ready to be a certain character.
Oh, I'm donning the mask.
Yeah.
I'm on The Masked Singer coming up this next season. Not true. I'm actually, our church, Transformation Church, we are going to be in the 2021 Christmas parade. And I'm going to be donning the Grinch garb. Hey, nice. The Grinch garb. I'm going to be wearing the Grinch, the suit, the whole Santa thing. It's going to be killer.
That's amazing. Congratulations. Do you have a Ebenezer on your float? Because if you don't,
An Ebenezer.
I turn into the best Ebenezer around this time frame because humbug, I am not big on holidays.
Ebenezer.
You're more of a Festivus guy, huh?
Look, listen here,
JT.
college boy. I don't know what these big words mean. I don't have Google up right now.
Wow. Okay, so what's your aversion to the holidays? What's that about?
I'm just not a fan. There's a lot of pressure. And, because you got to get a gift. And if their gift overpowers your gift, then you feel like really obligated to go out and get them another gift outside of Christmas realm.
It's the
You can't.
thought.
No.
It's the thought that
It's
counts.
not, but that's not how people think these days. That's how they used to think. Oh, wow. Hey, thanks for this popsicle stick of Rudolph. Here's
You have
Rolls Royce.
listen.
What?
You have the greatest out. If there was ever an argument like you're talking about right now, you have the greatest out in the history of history to be able to throw at anybody who comes back at you with that's a sucky gift. I'm telling you, it's the supply chain issue. Listen, all you gotta do is say, I had a better gift for you, but it's on a boat off the coast to somewhere. Okay, and that's it.
You know what my normal go-to answer is, I have a better gift for you, but it is still on the rack at the store, and I just didn't buy it.
Well, you could go that route. That makes you sound cheap. If you go the other route and just say, I really did put some thought into it, but old Biden,
Let's go.
wouldn't, let it in. I'm going to get into politics. It just happened.
Wait, I thought
No,
weren't
you
doing
could throw that
I thought
out
you
because
weren't doing
then
that impersonation.
what? Act like a dead corpse? That's a really tough impersonation. Yikes.
You could just say that it's lost with the USPS, mail, and you're going to follow up on the tracking number.
The
one.
USPS.
Yeah,
Tracking number
I
one.
don't. I've used that a couple times in my day. Not a fan.
All right, so you're saying it's the pressure.
I don't much care for the holidays. There is a secret to it, but because I said secret, you can't know about it.
I'm really good at keeping secrets.
Do you have a clearance to hold that secret?
Technically, as a pastor, I'm bound by confidentiality, but we are on a public podcast, so I can't really.
That's okay. I'll turn my volume down.
Wink, wink, wink. Oh yeah, hey, free confidentiality clause here tonight on the JT and Drew show. So
Yeah, free confidentiality made public.
Please tell us your secrets.
no, seriously, a lot of people like yourself come to this time of the year, and the holidays do more to spook them than Halloween. I mean, seriously, like
yeah.
Christmas, Thanksgiving, there's more of a stigma because you're expected. There's an expectation at holidays.
Sure
There's
is.
an Christmas party, the work Christmas party, heck, the church Christmas party. We've been talking about that. What are we going to do? And we came up, JT, if you don't mind me going down this rabbit hole, we came up with this idea, and we're still not sure we're going to do it, but we thought about it, and that's for the Christmas party, instead of doing Dirty Santa, right, which is what you do. Well,
White elephant.
White elephant, Dirty Santa, whatever.
Gotcha.
You steal the gift and all that stuff, and that's a fun game to play. But instead, since we're like, a religious organization, we're trying to better the community, how about instead of spending $5 on something cheap at the Dollar Tree, buy a set of gloves or a hat or a scarf and bring it and put it under the tree so we can give it away for our Christmas outreach this year. It's like, is that not better?
That's a lot better.
Yeah.
Except I have people in my life and they like things too.
Well, no, I'm being specific to the Christmas party, but
Oh, yeah,
if,
yeah. Yeah, no, definitely.
you could always hand them a gift and say, hey, I bought you a gift, not because I care about you, but because you would have been mad if I'd given this money to the poor. Here's your Christmas gift.
Yeah, $5 Cracker Barrel card.
You know what? $5 at Cracker Barrel, that'll get you some gravy.
Grits. Oh yeah, gravy.
Grits, gravy. That'll get you the mashed potatoes and gravy.
You could tell him, hey, I was gonna get you something, but I had to fill my tank up just to get here.
Oh, dude, no. He just released 50 million gallons of the reserve today.
I heard he was just complaining about, the reason why our gas is so expensive is because the Middle East isn't producing it quick enough.
Get off my lawn! That's basically what's
after,
going on here.
After it was,
That's,
hey, let me
that's-
shut all ours down, and then complain about them not doing it.
Wow, talk about a left turn there, Drew.
So,
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, so the holidays, okay, some people like it, some people don't. The Festivus not restaurant, what's the word I'm looking for? Reference.
Outlanders? Oh,
Reference was from Seinfeld.
Okay, I'm not as versed on that as sorry. I'm not as versed in the Seinfeld world. If you took me down to the office, I'd be a little bit more keen on what the references are. Seinfeld is I get the boom, 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 or no sleep for you, or I was in the pool. I got those. I know those, but if you get me further in, I'm lost.
So there's one of the characters, George, who is
Best character.
is very much not necessarily against Christmas, but he's not for celebrating. He's very much like a cross between a Grinch and a Scrooge. He's just, it's not for me.
That's a terrible cross, but yeah, go ahead.
Yep. Glad he didn't dress. Cross dress.
No kidding.
But anyway,
Sounds
so he
wonderful.
celebrates and introduces Festivus. It is the holiday for the rest of us. Festivus for the rest of us.
Okay. I mean, look.
So, like, if you don't do Christmas, Kwanzaa, whatever, fill in the blank, insert, holiday here or tradition or whatever. That's what that idea represented.
Okay. Well, and I think that's okay. That's just the thing. And I have a friend who we had this conversation about Christmas in December, which is celebrating the birth of Christ. There's a lot of other stuff going on. The actual other holidays are going on during that same time, but there's zero proof that that's the time Jesus was born, and he was more born in July or something to that effect. So this is now, at least, is a pure marketing campaign for money. Like it's just the way it is, because you got to have something. You got to spread this out all year long, right? Because you kick it off with Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, and then you move into July 4th, or Easter. Holy smokes, Easter's, and then I said the S on it, Easter's, and then July 4th, and then Thanksgiving, then Christmas, and they had to spread this stuff out because people want to make money, and we can't put.
Yeah, you can't tap him out too soon.
You can't celebrate Jesus' birth in July because it coincides with Independence Day, and we won't get as much money. So that's all this is, And so I don't think that. I think it's capitalism, capitalism,
Look like
right?
You're turning Chinese over there. What's going
I
on?
think that's a layer of it. I don't think it's the only thing.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, I'll let you with the layer. Gotcha.
It's a
I'm
layer
happy
of it.
with the layer. It's a way for the Catholic Church to sell a new religion to the people who are already celebrating whatever they were celebrating during this time. So, like for the Norse or Vikings, they were cutting trees down and putting them in their house and celebrating the rebirth of the world.
Which we're all glad they did. My wife, very excited about the Christmas tree.
That's amazing.
Speaking
So-
of- oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Just saying.
Go ahead.
So, and then whatever that council was they had in Rome, where they were like, oh, the holidays will be on this day and that day and this day and that
Oh
day.
yeah, totally.
It's a wonderful discussion to have. And I'm leaving it there.
No, you're absolutely right though. But listen, the reality of all of this, whether I'm celebrating Kwanzaa or Christmas or Independence Day or whatever it means, everything boils down to one thing. It's the motivation of the heart. It's the motivation of the person who is celebrating it. You can people wail. They wail around, Jesus wasn't born in December. And for those people who are celebrating Christmas, and to me it says, I could care less. It doesn't matter. What matters is my motivation for how I celebrate that particular part of my faith. Okay, so
Right.
if you're over here and you do the menorah, you're Jewish, and that's your motivation is love and in reflection towards God, family, motivation of the heart. It matters. Okay, that's part of my layer. There's no layer. Say a layer. There's no layer.
There was a wise man once said, "It's not what someone does; it's why they do it."
No, you're right. Motivation is very important. It is.
So let me ask you this. What is your definition of, because Drew and I, we've had this conversation before,
Mm-hmm.
between, and help me if I'm getting it wrong, what's the difference between faith and, what was the other one, Drew? You got to help me out, man.
Difference between faith and
Religion.
Oh, okay.
Faith and religion.
Now, religion, if you want to use that term, can be construed as a man-created organization that has created a pomp or circumstance or traditional outlook on how they live their faith. Faith is not a super spiritual thing. It doesn't have to be. It's rooted in physics. Okay? Part of faith is I'm sitting in this chair. I know and I have faith to believe that the chair Drew put down is going to support my weight. Okay? There is a level of faith that we all have to embody and we have to walk it. Whether you say you're a Christian or you have some spiritual side to you or not, faith is involved in everything, okay? We do. I drive down the road and in faith believe the guy on the other side of the street's going to stay in his lane, okay? That's faith. You're taking that on faith. So, but when it comes to using that term faith in a spiritual sense, faith is all about how you view God, how you view your walk with God, whether you're Jewish, whether you're a Christian, whether you're a Catholic or Protestant, and it doesn't, faith is a word used to embody your outlook, your view on how you walk your Christian walk out or your Catholic walk out or your whatever it is.
Yeah, I think another good word to kind of encapsulate all that would be relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Faith is the relationship, like you said, in whichever walk that is,
Mm-hmm.
that you have in your faith. Whereas the religion is the man-made, like you said, the set of rules.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna.
Don't get me wrong. A set of rules. Let's change the vernacular a little bit there. guardrails. Okay? There are people out there who are walking down a path that without guardrails would be off the side of the bridge like tomorrow. You know what I mean? But with a consistency, you see this, and listen, please hear me. I'm not trying to call people who have a set of what they do at church or whatever as people who have a problem. But I'm using it as an example. Please hear this to all of you who are listening, okay? But addicts who go to a self-help, or not self-help, a 12-step program type of situation, they go every week. Some people go every day, every night. They'll go to a thing. They have a program. They have a thing they do. They have something every single day they do, and it keeps them on the straight and narrow. It keeps them from falling into using or whatever it may be, and it keeps the guardrails up and pointing them down the right direction. Religious activity can act in the same way. We talked earlier jokingly about holidays and about motivation, right? That's huge. That's huge for how you do it. I know people who go to a Catholic, mass, and they're checking a box. They leave there and their life is not different at all than somebody else on the street. I'm just being honest. They do it because they feel like it's their religious activity and duty, and I did the deed. Then you have other people who they go through those. They use the rosaries. They kneel. They pray. They take communion. It's a part of their faith. It's a part of their guardrail to keep them moving forward towards what they feel God's calling them. And this all goes back to right here. You can't see it because of the microphone. Here, it's this.
Yeah.
Okay. Man, I like your word on relationship. Like I have a very, very intimate relationship with this chair right now.
That's really good, and I'm glad you have the faith in letting Drew give you the right chair.
Yeah.
To sit in.
Well,
I'm glad he has the faith to sit in the same room.
So you
alone.
Well, there's that,
rolling, right?
but listen, I'm a pastor, so I like the analogy. You know what? I walk by faith every single day. Who gave me the chair? Christ gave me the chair. I trust Christ. He put me in this position. He put me in whatever situation I'm in. I trust him. The chair is supported because I'm supported on him. You know what I'm saying? That's my life. And I live by faith and not by sight. That's what the scripture would have to say. So it'd be easy for me to look at that chair and go, mm-mm. And for Christ to go, you can trust me. Have faith. I have faith in the one who built the chair. To me, that's Christ. For me, personally.
Yeah. And that's great. I love it.
Yeah. That's good. That's good stuff.
So as you said, you're a pastor.
Yeah.
And when we introduced you, you were like, it's The Rock. And everybody went crazy. But you are Pastor Michael, correct?
Yeah.
All right. And so I have a question. How many times a day? No. Let's say a month. How many times a month, if somebody comes out and is like, oh my gosh, you are Pastor Michael, how many times does your conversation lead down the religious path instead of the, hey, how's your family doing? How's this?
No, because I think that here's the thing you got to understand. When people say pastor to me, 9 times out of 10, the conversation doesn't go down some super spiritual path, because my job isn't just to feed the sheep with God's word. It's to shepherd the sheep. And that involves, how's it going at work? How's your wife? How are the kiddos doing? Sometimes I'm not pulling out Peter, James, and John every single time I talk to somebody and they recognize me as Pastor Michael. It doesn't have to be that way.
Well, and I can say from my experience in dealing with you.
Dealing with me.
Yeah,
oh, yes.
How do I reword that?
You don't.
And
wow.
I'm going to commit to that statement.
Wow.
And just keep digging.
But he's listening, by the way.
I can attest to, it's not it's not all show, right? Like, okay, like you were saying earlier, checking the boxes. Okay, let me ask how their day was. How's the job going? How's the family? Cool, I hit all those marks. Next person, hey, how's your family? How's your job? All right, next person. I mean, there'd be random times where it's like, oh, hey, do you guys want to go do this? Sure. Or, hey, I heard you were sick in XYZ. We brought over some soup, or is there something we can do? Whatever. And it's not, well, he's obligated to do it because somebody asked him and he's a pastor. So there's a whole, I'll go back to relationship that takes place, at least with you, in our church, that maybe some people don't experience at other places, but that's how it is here. And I can see that difference. It's more, it's real. It's genuine. It's not a facade or, hey, got a mega sized congregation and,
which we don't.
You'll see me.
It's coming
after the worship band plays, and then after the sermon, you don't see me anymore because
I
I'm
hate
a hot
that.
commodity.
This is two things I hate: pastors who roll in right at the end of worship and roll out on the last worship song.
Yeah.
Like, where did he go? That drives me a little bit bananas. I know for some churches that are larger, I get it because he'll get accosted, at the door, and even myself, when I have somebody else pray and I run to the door to kind of, as people are exiting and saying, hey, thanks for being here, love you guys, how can I pray for you? It's impossible because I can't just high five everybody going out the door. People want to stop and talk to me, and I miss people as they go by. It's really challenging. I can't even imagine a church like even New Hope, which is 500, having Chuck being able to accommodate that. You know what I mean?
Right.
As much as I want to.
And he's another one too, and I know he's kind of been a mentor for you.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's so down to earth and very approachable.
Yeah, I think people see this. I grew up with this. Not my dad. My dad was always real, but I would always see this in like circles of different pastors. And we go, hey, Pastor John, would you please pray? And he's like, yeah, sure, I'd love to pray over the meal. And he would be like, Heavenly God of the universe, we're whore. I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, are you putting on a show for God right now? Or are you just telling me how good you can pray?
That's
what
I'm used to.
I mean, well, no, but you see me. Those of you listening or people who have seen me on the platform. It's me.
Yep.
I can't be anything else. I get excited, okay, but that's in me because he's an evangelist, and I get a little pumped up. But y'all, Christ was so relatable to people. That was the thing. He was so relatable to people. And this is not from the pastoral. This is not from the priest. This is not from the clergy. This is to every single person who calls himself a believer and who represents Christ. You just got to be you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm being serious. That's really what it boils down to. Because let me tell you what, people who are lost and people you're trying to connect with or show love to, they can spot a phony a million miles away. They just can. Yeah. And you just got to be real. I, with all the flaws, listen, I have so many flaws. You guys see my hairline right now. Many flaws. I've got Austin Powers teeth. Yeah, baby. You know what I'm saying? I'm flawed. I'm just a guy. And God called me. He called me to preach and to love on people and to shepherd people. And that's just like anybody else who's listening. You're flawed. You don't feel good enough. You don't have the right XYZ. It doesn't matter. If you've got Christ inside of you and you love people, be you. And let that lifestyle point people to Christ and faith. So, anyway, my rant's over.
Wonderful. It was a good rant. I have another question. Me in the back.
Yes,
first,
you, wife, domestic wife beater. What's up?
Actually, I have a comment and then I have a question. One time saw a phony, but then Drew took my binoculars out of my glove box, and I haven't seen that phony since. Next is, what motivates you? And this is a two-part. What motivates you every day to get up and just be you? And then what motivates you to keep doing what you're doing? Because to me, that's two different motivations. I can wake up. My motivation is to kick my kids out of the house on time to get on the bus. But then I have to be motivated to get my rear end into my truck and not cry while I go to work.
You and me both.
Yeah.
And catch Drew on the old CB breaker 19.
That's if I rolled out.
Okay, so the first question is my motivation just to get up. Period.
Out
my
of
second
bed.
motivation, just getting out of bed. I can give you
Sitting right here,
some.
brother.
I could give you some really crazy, super spiritual thing, like
That's
when
not
my
what I want. I want
feet hit the
you.
ground. Yeah, I wake up knowing that I'm gonna have the greatest cup of coffee in the world once I get out of the shower.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like there's a couple of things the military helped me with tremendously. I can wake up on a dime. I can wake up pretty much any time on a dime. If I know I've got to be up for a 5 a.m. flight at 4 o'clock or 3:45, my alarm goes off, I just stand straight up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's creepy.
I know. There's some things that just built into me. I can just do it now. Do I sluggishly get out of the bed in the morning? Yes, of course. But so there's some of that instinctive get up. What motivates me is if I don't get up, listen, you want me to be real?
Let's do it.
If I don't get up when my alarm hits at 7:15 is when I normally hop up. And if I don't move as quickly as possible, the boys will beat me to the bathroom. They will beat me to the bedroom, and once they're in the room, it's really hard to get in. I got to get in the shower. And they're all piling on us, and I'm just like, I got to get where I got to go. So I just have this thing. I get up. I know when the alarm goes off. It's a soft iPhone alarm. Yes.
So do you coffee then shower?
No.
Or shower then coffee?
No. I hit the shower first.
Really?
Yeah.
Even before you make your mess?
What mess are you talking about?
Your post-coffee
The one
mess.
of the S's.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Not showering, not shaving, but...
Oh, that doesn't happen until way later in the day.
Oh my
okay. You've
gosh.
got good-
That's
pretty
not
good
part of
control.
my process.
It's got a colon of a
okay.
20-year-old. I'm over here,
No.
80
At
years
least.
old, going, sip of coffee? Oh, no! You know.
No, but that's the thing. No, see, you shower, trim, whatever, shave, dress, go have coffee, and then kiss everybody at the table, because by the time 8:25 rolls around when I'm rolling out, they've already started school. They're already homeschooling.
Oh,
Okay?
yeah.
I kiss everybody at the table. I take my coffee, which is NAT Go cup, and I go to the church and I pray for an hour. And during my hour of prayer is when things start working. And then I got to be like, okay, I'm going to go to the throne room, the other throne room.
That's
But-
Drew's office, I was told.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's-
Okay, so
there's a
really,
placard.
what wakes me up and what's my motivation for going, obviously, is like I'm a doer. I don't like just sitting around. Like, I mean, this week has been a little lighter because it's been the week of Thanksgiving coming up. I took a less office hours, but I'm still like, I'm folding laundry, because Carolyn's working. She's editing photos and she's working and I'm not working, so I'm going to do something to help. Is that all the time? No, I watched a lot of Star Trek today, okay?
That's great.
A lot of
That's
Star Trek.
doing something.
But doing something is a motivation. I like to do things. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
I like doing stuff. Now, what's my motivation for continuing pastoring?
No.
Is that what your question is?
No, just continuing life. What continues to keep going forward?
Look, I can't. It sounds super spiritual, but really, my passion for God is so a driving force. And I would say it's like number one. Number two, because so many things interact with that. Because that intersection of Christ and the work He has for me to do it's an intersection that lines up with my love for my wife and my family, my children, and our life together. There is so much of that driven by my love for God, because my love for my love for God informs my love for my wife, my kids, my family, my passions, my calling, all that jazz. That's why I do what I do. Because we're to do all things, right? Do it unto the Lord. That's what it says. All things unto the Lord. And so if I love my wife the way I should, I'm doing it unto the Lord. If I chastise my children and I do it in love and I don't do it out of anger, I'm doing this because of my love for God. There's a lot of things. Talking to people, ministering on Sunday mornings is a 30, 45-minute part of my calling, you know? It's not the big thing. It's not the biggest thing I do. It's one of the smallest things I do. I won't lie. Is God's word powerful and can it change people's lives? It does, absolutely. But everything I do throughout the week, the phone calls we make, the visitations we do, the helping people on the phone, the school next door, connecting with faculty, connecting with people, dropping off food, that 11 p.m. or 3 a.m. phone call with somebody in crisis, this is my life.
So it's really a lifestyle.
It is a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle of love. That's it.
That's a good answer. I mean, that's your honest answer, and that's kind of what people really want. So,
and just to clarify too, without going in grave detail.
Yeah.
So you grew up a pastor's kid, and from then forward, you just had like a perfect life.
Oh yeah, it was just perfect.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
I was making sure.
It was no, and I don't think we have enough time for that testimony. It may have to be a two-parter.
Listen, hold on now. I heard the song. Okay.
Wait, which song?
The preacher, the son of a preacher man. Okay, I've heard that song.
Son of a preacher man. No, I'm seriously. A lot of things that drove me to say yes to God are founded or have a foundation in tragedy.
As I think a lot of stories do.
Yeah, I mean, this was like Uncle Ben getting shot. With great power comes great responsibility level stuff. You know what I'm saying? It was like, or the great challenge. For those of you who know my testimony, having been called to be a minister, and then right smack dab in the middle of me moving towards that, my wife leaves me for somebody else, and I'm left holding a bag of calling that I feel like I'm now, I'm not good enough to carry out. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you had feelings. That's not what I meant.
Feelings at the corner of my mind.
Well, and to top it off, if that wasn't crazy enough, your environment at that time, I don't want to say they weren't supportive, but I mean, your work environment, you were a maintainer.
Yeah, it was toxic.
Yeah, it's a pretty.
It was
rough
everything.
crowd.
I had every opportunity to take that wrong road, and I don't mean that in like some spiritual way. Everybody has an opportunity to do that. When you have tragedy, you can go down a bad road, but I chose to keep continuing towards what God had called me to, and I felt called to. And even though I felt like I had no legitimacy to do it anymore, I mean, the big D, everywhere I went, I wore the big D t-shirt that said divorced, and that, 15 years ago, that was like no bueno,
Yeah,
it was tough.
60 years ago, that was no bueno.
Oh, no, talk about Salem witch trial. They would have like burned me at the stake. No, I'm serious. They didn't really burn him, they hung him. But anyway, I'm just...
I knew someone.
No, but here's the cool thing. I had a guy who looked past all that stuff and said, you know what? I see the calling on you, and I'm not going to let that be a disqualifier for you. I'm going to give you opportunity that nobody else would. And I thought he was nuts, but he put me on a platform in the midst of all that madness, and I still was able to walk it out, grow, develop myself, heal, and that made me a viable candidate, to actually step into what I was called to. To be a good husband again, to be a better father, to my boys than I was to my older kids. You know what I'm saying? There was so much that I learned in that 5 years of wilderness between the end of one marriage and the beginning of another that radically changed how I saw everything. And it was only because I fell into the arms of Christ and I gave up. I said, hey, I cannot do this anymore.
Well, and your willingness at that point, at that low point, to be vulnerable and to be open to a change, something that you weren't walking before.
Mm-mm.
And it really paints the image of like the forge,
yeah,
and being formed, and going through that, and it's not pretty at first, but the outcome, you have a nice polished sword or knife or whatever it is, and it had to go through that whole process to get where
you know what though? You can have a real pretty sword. Okay, I have a really pretty sword on my wall at home, and it's a decorative sword. If somebody was actually coming at me to try to, hurt me, that sword probably wouldn't do me much good.
No,
because it would probably snap in half because it's just not made for battle. It's not been made and forged to do what it's actually called to do. And I think that's what happened to a lot of people. They go through a lot of junk, they have a lot of stuff, and then they try to. It's like putting lipstick on a pig. It's still it's still a pig. Okay, but
it's a pretty pig.
Pretty pig. Okay, but yeah, I went there. No, but if the sword is forged correctly, if you look at battle swords, they're not pretty. They're not pretty at all, but dang, they're strong. They'll run somebody straight through, and they're sharp on both sides. And the one I have at home is not sharp at all. You know what I'm saying? It's not going to do any good, but boy, it looks good. Looks like a good sword. Okay, well, I mean, that's the mask we put on every single day. I want to look the part, but really on the inside, I'm fractured, I'm broken, and I'm really not going to be very useful. And that's where Christ comes in. At the end of my marriage, I was just a pretty sword. I had talent. I could sing.
Hey, you're still a pretty sword.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But it took 5 years of forging me, putting me through the heat, through the hot metal, beating on me, beaten, fold, until that iron became very strong again. It came to a place where I really could be used for battle again. And then when I married Carolyn, she married a strong man. I'm sorry, that's just the reality. I'm not saying I'm all that in a bag of chips, but I was such a better husband.
Yeah.
By going through all that stuff.
And you had gone through, weathered the storm. And
yeah. And now 10 years into, over 10 years into our marriage, I can't help but feel like God helped me walk through that purpose, or that time for this Esther moments for such a time as this. Because now I can be a strong husband. I can be the priest of my home. I can stand up for righteousness and say no to things when I couldn't before.
Even just taking that in a general sense. And you have somebody who screwed up in their life, or they're living on the street, or they showed up to church drunk, or they're wearing baggy clothes with holes in them and this and that, or they speak up while they're sitting on the front pew and get kicked out of church because they asked the question.
Are you serious?
No, I was talking about that one guy.
Wow.
Yeah, uh-huh. And
I've never done that. I only asked a question.
That's what I said, yeah. And don't ask any more questions.
It does not ask the questions.
My point, circling back, is there are so many people out there that have been hurt, been scarred, what have you, and not given that chance, not given that opportunity. Instead it's just judging the book by its cover. Oh, you came in church drunk. Yeah, you don't belong here. Get out. Go away. You're a menace. Hey, you asked a question. I don't like the question that you asked. Get out. Go away.
Oh, yeah, that happened.
Yeah. But when you give them that opportunity, you sow into them a little bit. Maybe figure out what's going on here. Why did they show up drunk? Maybe they need a little help. Maybe they don't. I don't know. But you don't know if you just cast them aside.
And I think that's what I went through, and what Chuck did for me, what the church, I'll say the church who helped kind of take me in, they set such a precedent for me in helping those people that seem unhelpable. Like the people that walk in and they are knowingly not in a good place. And Carolyn and I both made it very clear when we planted this church that everyone is welcome. I don't care if you're red or if you're blue. I could care less if you're gay or if you're straight, if you're bi, if you're trans. I don't care. I don't care if you're rich or if you're poor, if you're black or if I don't care, okay? You're loved when you walked in the door because that's the way Christ approached everyone. That's the way it works. And then what we do is we teach God's word and we let his presence, his word, and his Holy Spirit do the work. It's not a judgment issue. This is not you're going to hell. That's not going to help anybody.
Turn and burn, baby.
That's not going to help anybody walking in the door. And I don't have much equity. I like to use this word equity. It's a really popular word right now, equity. I'm not using it in that particular sense, but I have not built equity in relationship with anybody like those people who just walk into the church for the first time, to be able to look at them and say, you know what, you're probably going down the wrong road. I haven't built that equity yet. Yeah. It's only through equity that we have an opportunity to speak the truth in love and it be received. That's the difference. Okay? Now, they're going to do what they're going to do, but they will experience God's love when they walk into the room. Mm-hmm. I don't care. Oh, how could you, Pastor? How could you allow that person to come in? You know what? They're not coming in and they're not trying to influence people with their particular culture or their particular ideology. Of course, that's not what we want. But what they will experience is a flat out free love of God every time. And that's the way Christ approached people, period. He talked to women. A lot of people don't understand this. Every time you see Christ talking to a woman in Scripture, it was radically controversial.
Oh, yeah.
Men did not speak to women. They did not give them an opportunity to speak at all. And he met so many women at the well. He talked to women and gave the prostitute. He was so available to the tax collector. There's so many people that he was just like people who were what we call unchurched, de-churched. I'm just use that terminology. Mm-hmm. I don't know how I got on this road, but people that are going through stuff. But you got to understand, we're not perfect people, so come on in. You're going to be in good company, because none of us are perfect.
Oh yeah.
Sorry, I got excited.
No, it's fine. And it's funny. I personally watch a YouTuber called Brandon Tatum, or the Tatum Reports, and he's not pastor or anything like that, but sometimes he says, I don't know who has to hear it, but I have to say this because it's my calling. Something is telling me to say this to someone. And he'll say his piece and then he's done.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, maybe something told him to tell the world that, and somebody really needed to hear it. So maybe you went down that rabbit hole because somebody needs to hear it.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to cut you off.
I have been cut off.
You have. I'd like to enter into a little segment we like to do here on the JT and Drew show called the Things That Make You Go.
Things that make you go.
Oh. Brought to you by
The JT and Drew Show.
I got hit by a twine. Termites. Blind or not?
Termites, blind or not? I'm gonna go with blind.
Yeah.
Their eating patterns are absolutely erratic. If they could see, they would be making patterns in the sand or something, in the wood. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, according to a credible source I found today. $14 termites are not blind, but $7 termites are.
Interesting.
And that's the things that make you go, You're welcome. You're welcome because I didn't say 71, 77, and $71. You're welcome.
Right.
Wow.
So this is my Google. Oh yeah, they can't really read that.
Oh my goodness.
I messed that message up so bad today.
That's what happens when Google talks to text, or text.
I love talk to
whatever.
text though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But speaking of kids, JT, what do your kids think about Christmas? Do they enjoy the holidays? I mean, obviously they like
the long
presents,
sigh.
toys and stuff.
I know. Well, so my son, my oldest, just came to me earlier this year and was like, I'm going to tell you something that I have been hiding from you for a while. And I was like, what is that?
That's the worst thing a kid can say to a parent.
I know. And he goes, I know Santa isn't real. And I said,
how old is he again?
what are you talking about? Are you kidding me? Because every time Santa comes to our house, I'm having cookies and milk with him. Because I always make a little extra for me. And why do you think I'm so fat? You know, and I tried, and he was like, look, Dad, I caught you with the presents one time because I looked under my door, and you were setting them out. And I was like, wasn't me. That was Santa in a bathroom.
You
I
were
don't know what
helping
to tell you.
Santa.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but I asked Landon, he's my 5-year-old,
Yeah.
just the other day. I said, Landon, who brings the presents to children on Christmas? And he goes, Santa. And then I asked him, is Santa real? And he goes, no.
Oh, no.
He's 5.
Dang it.
No.
Well, I had a conversation with Landon the other day,
Oh, I can't wait.
and he was slapping my belly a little bit, and he goes, "You got a big belly."
Yep. I remember.
And then he looked at my belly, and he looked at me, and he goes, "Santa has a big belly." And he looked at my belly again, and he looked at me. We made eye contact, and he goes, "You're Santa."
And at that point, you went,
This kid needs to get his belief system straight. Orale! What's up, fool?
No, seriously, Carolyn and I, we homeschool our boys. We do history. History is a big part of it. We teach them, St. Nick is a real person,
Oh, yeah.
who did deliver toys to children, in, was it Switzerland? I can't remember.
There's one of them.
One of them up there. And, so, and that's, who they have taken and created this character of who Santa Claus is. But, there's no big secret. We don't put out cookies. We don't do it. And it's not like a we hate Christmas or we hate Santa thing or I'm anti nothing. But it's just
It's a lot of work.
something. It is a lot of work. It's like the whole fairy tale. It's not fairy tale. The Tooth Fairy.
Oh, y'all don't do
Now-
the Tooth Fairy.
No way. They're
Really?
like, Dad, can I have $5 for this dude? I'm like, sure, whatever. It's like that's just the way it
Wow.
is.
Is that a white thing?
That
Whoa.
is not. That is
The
not.
$5? I mean,
That
I
is
was
not
used to like
because
maybe
the
a
Tooth
quarter.
Fairy, the Tooth Fairy at my house ran out of money. Okay, I'm just saying.
Don't go. Hey, listen, don't go Full House on the whole, Tooth Fairy thing where Michelle comes running out going, look, Daddy, the Tooth Fairy came. I got $20. And you should see his face. Like, he's like, oh, honey, that must have been, it was so dark in the room that the Tooth Fairy didn't realize he pulled a 20. He meant to pull a $1 bill out of his. It was hilarious. I'll never forget that part of Full House. It was awesome.
Man. Ooh, speaking of classics.
Classic.
There was a man and a woman, and they had gone to bed, and the wife is getting ready. The next day is their Thanksgiving meal, okay? And that evening, as they're getting ready for bed, the husband's real gassy. And, I mean, he's letting them rip one after the
Is
next.
this an autobiography?
Sounds familiar.
I've changed the names to protect the innocent. We'll go with Johnny and Sally. So he's letting them rip, and she's telling him, babe, if you keep this up, you're going to end up farting your guts out. And he's like, yeah, whatever. They go to bed. Well, she's got to get up super early, prep the turkey, put it in the oven, all that stuff. So she decides, hey, this is going to be fun. She takes all the guts out of the turkey, the gizzards, whatever, lays them next to his butt in bed.
Oh my gosh.
And she's going about her day. He wakes up sometime later, realizes he's farted his guts out, and he freaks out. And you hear him yelling, and he runs downstairs, and the wife's laughing. You know, she got him. And he says, honey, you'll never believe it. You were right. I farted so much last night that I farted my guts out. He goes, but thanks to God and these 2 fingers, I was able to put them all back in.
I knew that was going, and still, it's so shocking because, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
True.
So don't be like that guy.
Don't be like that guy.
Who was not me, that I didn't do that.
No. How do you parlay out of that one? That was tough. That's tough.
Can you, though? I mean,
I
you've
don't
already,
think so.
It's embedded in there for a minute.
Jeez Louise. My goodness.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it on my end.
Yeah.
It has been a wonderful session. Pastor Michael, thanks for stopping by the JT and Drew studio.
Yeah, for sure.
We'd have to do it again for a part 2 so we can dive in a little deeper.
Love that.
Maybe we'll crack the champagne and get the candles out.
I hate to break it to you, but I don't drink alcohol.
Well, hey, they make Welch's champagne.
I'll take the grape juice.
Yes.
The sparkling. It's sparkling. Y'all, seriously, that'll be a part 2.
Communion
We'll have to
pong?
go down that road on part 2. For sure.
Oh, well,
Sweet. Well, yeah, we've definitely enjoyed having you on, and look forward to next time.
I love it.
And
yeah.
I mean, you need next time we got to figure out how to do a 3 mic duo here and pull in Carolyn, because Carolyn would be a fantastic guest because she's gonna shoot straight. She is the he was, Trump recognized him.
Rush Limbaugh.
Rush Limbaugh.
Yep.
Dude, she'll be the Rush Limbaugh, man. Of it all.
Says all
She
the
will
things.
lay it out, man. She's not scared.
As always, we'd like to say thank you for stopping by and listening to the podcast.
Yeah, we realized that you could have been doing anything way more productive, but you chose to waste your time with us.
We look forward to talking about absolutely nothing with you next time.
If you have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover, please email us at
jtandrewshow@gmail.com or visit our Facebook page at www.facebook.com/JTDrewShow.